This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories.
And welcome to a short video I wanted to do. First off, happy Hobbit Day, and if you're wondering what that means or why this day is important, that's actually why I am making this video, because I want to talk about the importance of the date of September the 22nd in J.R.R. Tolkien's lore and world of Middle-earth. And it's not just important for one event, but as you'll see, many events. I just went and checked my copy of The Lord of the Rings to make sure I had the correct dates for everything with the years. So let's go into the reason, or should I say reasons, that this date is so important. And that is for, honestly, the many important events that happen on this day throughout the years. And although these aren't the most important moments, like the destruction of the One Ring, or the death of Smaug, or final defeat of Morgoth, because that happens a bunch of times in the first stage. Let's take a look at why it's so important for this. So going chronologically, in the year 2890 of the Third Age, Bilbo Baggins is born, and obviously Bilbo is a really important character to Middle-earth, with him finding the One Ring, and of course helping Thorin and his company free the Lonely Mountain from Smaug and take it back. And also with the Battle of Five Armies and everything, makes it so Thorin doesn't go to war with the men and elves over his treasure. And obviously that is important, and this also ties into one of the events of The Hobbit, where Bilbo explains during his birthday speech that on his birthday was the first day he got a glimpse of Erebor arriving on the Long Lake, heading towards Lake Town, and that is, although a minor moment, it is a pretty important moment for Bilbo, since that marks the beginning of the final stage of his journey, and where some of the most important moments, with the exception of finding the ring and him sort of finding his courage and leadership in Mirkwood, would happen, and that's another reason why this is so important. Of course, if you know the books and you've read them, you would know that Bilbo and Frodo share the same birthday. And the next event is in 2968, where of the Third Age, where Frodo is born. And obviously Frodo would have even more impact than Bilbo, with him being the one to take the One Ring from the Shire all the way to Mount Doom, where, although he would ultimately fail to destroy the ring, he was in the right place at the right time for Gollum to take the ring, and if you're reading the book, slip and fall to his death, or watching the movie, fight him and have Gollum fall in the fight. But obviously, we're talking about the books, so it would be where Frodo was not really doing anything and Gollum fell, which makes Frodo also really important and just helps compound the importance of truly everything about this day. Going now to the next important event in the year 3001 of the Third Age. That is where the opening of Lord of the Rings happens. Bilbo leaving the Shire and leaving the ring to Frodo, which 17 years later, as you'll see in just a moment, begins his quest. But this helped Gandalf be able to suspect this might be the One Ring and push him on to his investigation. And if he didn't do that, the events of Lord of the Rings probably would have never happened, and the Nazgul would have just shown up 17 years later and taken the ring from Frodo, brought it to Sauron, and everyone would have lost. And speaking of 17 years later, in the year 3018 at Third Age, this day was important again, with it being sort of in a different way, which was kind of the last normal day of Frodo's life, his last day where he was able to truly enjoy the Shire, live in Bag End, and have a last part of his old life before he would leave the next morning for the Quest of the Ring. And yeah, honestly, that just makes it just a little more important. This one is in sort of a different level of importance where it's the last normal day of Frodo's life before things get pretty bad for him and he eventually has to leave for the Grey Havens and sail to Valinor, which is the final reason why this day is so important, because this is when Frodo finally reunites with Bilbo and the rest of the company that is going to the Grey Havens alongside Sam to go and ultimately leave Middle-earth. And as you can see, if you look at these different events, there are so many important things that happen on this date, which is why it is called Hobbit Day, since it's all related to hobbits and important days to them. And it ultimately isn't, as I said, the extremely important moments. And I probably release another one of these on, I believe it's March the 25th, to explain what is called, I believe, Tolkien Reading Day. But that'll be a completely separate video that I'll do. But as you can see, this day is important to the lore of Middle-earth because so many important things happen for the hobbits, and I'm gonna say that's why it is called Hobbit Day, because that's at least my interpretation of it. It might be like a simpler reason or even more complex one, but that is why this day is so important. I want to know what you think about this. Would you like to see more of these videos? Because I don't do too many lore-based videos, but do want to get into doing some more of them. This was a lot of fun to do, and was a pretty easy one to go and accomplish since I just had to check a few dates in my copy of Lord of the Rings. Obviously, I wouldn't just do it for this, but I would do it for other topics. So if you have any ideas for topics you'd like me to cover, definitely let me know in the comments. And I'll see you on the next episode of Legends and Theories.
Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.